Hi, this is Brian Icenhower, and I'm here to talk to you a little bit today about the seller questionnaire, or using a seller lead form or a seller lead sheet when converting an initial phone call with a prospective seller into a listing appointment, and how essential it is to use a lead form or a seller questionnaire to help come from curiosity and stay on the phone, take control of the conversation by asking questions. Too often, we don't ask enough questions when they're on the phone with a prospective seller in advance of the listing consultation appointment. So we need to do a better job of that and be very, very thorough. This not only helps us obtain all the information we need to know in advance of the listing consultation, it also makes us look a lot more focused and purposeful. Keeps us very, very organized, which impresses sellers as well too. So it's very important to keep asking questions. Every sentence should end with a question mark. No statements that end with period. And the only way you can keep that flow going is to make sure you're prepared. And a lead questionnaire with a series of questions and or information that needs to be filled out is a way to keep that flow going. Not to mention, you'll have that form you can prepare right before the listing consultation, and you'll have it throughout the transaction as well too. Help you remember specific things about the sellers and their needs and the home. So we call that, it's called quite a few things. It could be a seller pre-lead sheet, seller questionnaire, seller listing form. But it's very important we try to use one, and we should use one and have them handy at all times, anytime we're following up with a prospective seller in advance. It asks a lot of questions too, not only just general information about them, their phone numbers, their contact information, in their family. It's going to have continual questions about why they want to move, what happens if they don't move, so we're going to assess their motivation there. You can ask them, most lead forms ask them to rank their motivation on a scale of 1 to 10. How quickly do they want to move? You'll remember questions, some of the more difficult questions, like how much they owe on the home. You need to know how much they owe on the home so that you can do your homework in advance of meeting with them. Where they want to move to, so you might be able to start preparing, getting them some ideas of possibly representing them on the buying side of their next home as well too. And you want to do that. And when you ask these questions too, we kind of want to take them down a path of self-discovery. We want to let them kind of author why they want to move and where they want to move, and even when they want to move to a certain degree. Oftentimes they'll tell you a time that they want to move. They want to move in 6 months. Well, they don't realize that's going to actually require them to get their house listed and meet with you right now if they want to actually be moved 6 months down the road. But we don't want to say those things in the actual phone call. We use the information to be prepared for when we're in the actual kitchen at the table talking with them in the actual listing consultation in person. We really want to make sure that I want to make sure all of you understand that we do not want to try to list this property over the phone. We wait for the appointment. All we're trying to do on the phone is get the appointment and be prepared for the appointment. We're taking information, we're asking questions, we're not trying to convince or persuade, other than we want to try to make sure that we have a reason to sit down and talk with them in person now. We don't want to wait for that in-person conversation. So using that seller lead form is how we can keep asking questions, keep assessing motivation, and illustrate the importance to sit down and meet with them at least now, even if it's just for informational purposes. And as we're asking questions about their motivation to move, that brings that motivation to the top of mind. It gets them thinking about, hey, I really do want to move, and it all of a sudden generate the need to actually sit down and meet with you sooner rather than later. So bringing that up, getting the emotions behind why they want to move, finding out why is so crucial. Is it for their kids? Is it to get them in a better school? Is it for a bigger house or a bigger yard they can play in? Is it to be closer to an aging mother or other family? Is it so they can do more activities they'd like to do or be in a safer neighborhood? Whatever that may be, we want to bring that to the surface when they're deciding whether to meet with you in person or not. But that's at the surface, they're more inclined to say, yes, I should be moving forward. So using this questionnaire will ensure that we dig deep and get to that point and unearth the seller motivation and create a little bit of urgency, at least to meet. So in this case, we want to be more of a consultant, not just an agent. We really want to be talking to them and letting them self-discover why they want to move. So we are always a guide right down that path of self-discovery that, hey, maybe I should meet and at least find out what it's going to take for me to move. It's going to have a lot of questions that are going to, on the lead form, and that is going to help you determine if you're going to face any of the big objections that we typically get in a listing consultation. Questions like, have you spoken with any agent? It's going to let you know as to whether you're going to be facing any competitors or it's a competitive listing situation. It'll also let you know when you should set this meeting, if you want to go first or if you want to go last in your listing consultations when compared to other agents. So are there any competitors? Who? I'd ask, that's another question. Who and when are you meeting them? So you'll know how urgent you need to be in making sure you sit down with these people. Asking them, have they ever thought about selling the home themselves, to let them know if you're going to be in a commission dispute, if you're going to have to overcome objections about whether you will be having to negotiate your commission or protect your commission, I should say. Ask them, do they have any idea as to what they would like to sell it for and how they came about that idea. That's a great question to ask that a lot of agents skip. They don't want to get into that space, but asking them what they think it should sell for is a question will let you know whether they're going to be realistic on pricing, so you don't hit any objections on your price recommendations as well too. Asking them what they purchased the home for and whether they've made any improvements to it since they purchased it will also set you up for the pricing conversation as well too. Same with asking them how much they owe on the property right now also sets up, and then you'll know what they need to get from the property. Again, asking when they want to move will help with seller urgency, as we discussed earlier. And then asking them what they think they still need to do to the home to get it ready to put up on the market will help with urgency and condition objections, so we know what condition of the home it needs to be in, what they think they need to do, and what they really do need to do to get the home up for sale. So really use a seller lead sheet. If you go to my website, therealestatetrainer.com, you can actually download a sample seller questionnaire or lead form that you can use to help you when you're talking to prospective sellers on the phone, so you can convert more listing appointments and get more listing consultations turned into signed listing agreements. Thanks again.